The Pale Blue Eye was directed by Scott Cooper and stars Christian Bale and Harry Melling, and I'm very excited to give you guys my review for this movie. If you've seen it, be sure to leave a comment what you thought about it. As well, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get into this review. In this movie, a world-weary detective is hired to investigate a murder at West Point, and to help solve this mystery, he enlists the help of a young man that the world will come to know as Edgar Allan Poe. So I often enjoy murder mystery movies, and this one definitely felt a lot different than some of the other ones that I've been seeing lately, like Knives Out and Glass Onion. Those movies are fun murder mysteries. There's a lot of humor in them. Even some of the other ones with Kenneth Branagh and Murder on the Orient Express, they are fairly fun as well. They have some suspense to them, but they're fairly fun murder mystery movies. This one has some fun to it as a murder mystery, but it's a lot more serious in tone, and it has this sort of eerie feeling, eerie atmosphere throughout the movie, and I actually really like that. It kind of made this movie stand out to me, and I just liked that feel that this movie had. It felt different. It felt good for its setting, taking place in the time period that it was taking place in. And it really worked, and I liked the cinematography of this movie. There's some great shots. It's taking place like during the winter, a lot of snow. There's some scenes where it's sort of a foggy location that they're filming at, and I really liked that. It sort of added some suspense to this movie, and it really worked for what they were going for me. It just felt like a darker movie, more suspenseful and eerie. Like I said, in a way I got sort of similar feels to Seven with sort of the atmosphere of that movie. It had a bit of that eeriness to it as well. I got some of that feeling with this movie. Some other people may not feel that way, but that's how I felt, and I really liked that. The performances as well were fantastic. Christian Bale was great as always in this, and Harry Melling was great as well. I've seen him pop up in a few things since the Harry Potter movies, but I feel like this is the biggest role I've seen him in. He may have had some other really big ones, but for me this is the biggest I've seen him in, and he was great in this. He was very good in it, and I liked his dynamic with Christian Bale. They have some great scenes together. I enjoyed his character, the way he is, the way maybe he's not the most popular person amongst the group of people he's with, and I really like that dynamic in this movie. For me, the strengths of this movie were the first act and the third act. The first act had a great setup to what was going on, great setup to the mystery of these murders when they find these bodies. The first one sort of been hung a bit, and they've been like cut open and their like hearts removed or something. I believe it was their hearts, and that like added to that like kind of eerie feel to it, very creepy, and I really liked that. And I thought it had a great setup to this mystery, like what's going on. It's not your typical, okay, there's just a dead person who's been like stabbed or shot. There's more to it, which I really liked. And then the third act I thought was great too, with its reveals. The first, you get your standard reveal, which I didn't totally see coming. I sort of guessed maybe the people who were involved were, but sort of not their reasonings. I didn't guess that, and I thought it was very interesting, that interesting way they went with that. Again, it sort of added to that eeriness of this movie. So I really enjoyed that, and then after that there was another twist which I did not see coming at all, and I thought that was a very interesting decision that they made, and for me it worked. I thought it was a good twist because I didn't see it coming, and it's one that I could understand why the person did what they did. So I really liked that. For me, the final act was very strong with its conclusions and the reveals. They worked for me. First act, again, very strong with the setup, with the murders, the characters. I really liked all that. For me, though, what holds this movie down was the second act. There were parts of it that I enjoyed, but there were other parts where I was just starting to lose some interest. I wasn't as invested, and it made it hard to sort of just keep paying attention to what was going on. And that was unfortunate, because if it was as strong as the other two acts, I think this movie would have been great, but it holds it down for me. And I just wasn't as invested in that second act. Some of the stuff made it feel like it was meandering, even though they do pay off in the end. Like there's a romantic subplot in this with Harry Melling's character, and it pays off in the end in a certain way. But watching it, I was just like, okay, I'm not all that interested. Maybe there's a lack of chemistry between the actors or what have you. That second act though, I don't know, I felt it was dragging for me and made the movie feel a little too long. And like I said, other than some moments within the second act, I just wasn't as invested, which was really unfortunate because I liked the first and third act. So overall, I would say I did like this movie. I did think it was good. Unfortunately, the second act just really held it down for me. I just wasn't as invested in that second act. It made the movie feel too long, and it held this movie down from being great to just being good, which is fine. It was too bad it wasn't on the same level the whole way through. But again, the first act and the third act I thought were both very strong. I really enjoyed the performances in this. I liked the overall concept of these murders, what was going on. Cinematography I thought was great. So for me, I did quite enjoy this movie. I would give The Pale Blue Eye a 71%. So those are my thoughts on this movie. If you guys have seen it, let me know what you thought about it. As well, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And be sure to stay tuned for some more reviews coming soon. And until my next video, take care everybody.